What if I told you that the heroes we worshipped in our school textbooks may not be exactly who we think they were? That the same Gandhi that many call a saint is also heavily criticized? That Bhagat Singh, the symbol of revolution, was once labeled a terrorist? And that some Muslim freedom fighters who sacrificed their lives are almost erased from our history books? Today, I'm going to take you on an emotional, controversial journey, digging out the hidden truths about India's freedom fighters, the debates around them. We all know Mahatma Gandhi as the father of the nation, the man of ahimsa, nonviolence. His Dandi March, Quit India movement, and nonviolent approach inspired crores of Indians. But here comes the controversy. Many historians blame Gandhi for favoring the Congress elite over revolutionaries. His critics say he slowed down aggressive movements when Indians were ready to fight. Even Subhas Chandra Bose once said Gandhi's leadership was too soft, almost submissive to the British. Islamic scholars like Maulana Abul Kalam Azad and later scholars of Jamia Millia Islamia argued that Gandhi's path of nonviolence was rooted in morality, not weakness. Nonviolence wasn't about surrender. It was about breaking the spine of British oppression by uniting the masses. Gandhi knew that if India fought violently, millions more would die, and Britain would use it as an excuse to tighten their control. So was Gandhi perfect? No. But, as scholars highlight, his method created a mass awakening that no violent revolution alone could achieve. Next, let's talk about Bhagat Singh, one of the most emotional figures in India's history. A 23-year-old young man who gave his life for the nation. He threw bombs in the Central Assembly, not to kill, but to make the deaf hear. He, along with Rajguru and Sukhdev, faced the gallows with revolutionary courage. But here's the controversy. Britishers labeled him a terrorist. Shockingly, even today, some Western historians echo that same line. Islamic scholars draw a key distinction. Terrorism is the killing of innocents, while Bhagat Singh targeted the imperial government, a political regime that thrived on injustice. The Quran says, "Fight those who oppress you, but do not transgress." Bhagat Singh's struggle, therefore, was against oppression, not innocent lives. That's why the people call him Shahid-e-Azam, a martyr of the highest rank. Here comes the man who shook the British Empire's confidence, Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose. Unlike Gandhi, Bose believed in armed struggle. He sought help from Germany and Japan in World War II, created the Indian National Army, INA, and gave the thunderous call, "Give me blood, and I will give you freedom." Some accuse Bose of aligning with fascist powers like Hitler and Japan's imperial army. Others say his INA didn't make a real difference in India's liberation. Scholars like Maulana Hussain Ahmad Madani at Deoband acknowledged that Bose's intent was purely India's freedom. In Islamic ethics, niyya, intention, defines action. Bose's intention was not to support fascism, but to use global conflict to India's advantage. Azad also defended Bose, saying history should judge him not by who helped him, but by why he fought. Perhaps the most controversial figure, Tipu Sultan, the Tiger of Mysore. He fought 4 wars against the British, never bowing down. He modernized weaponry, introduced rockets in warfare, and inspired later revolutionaries. But there's a deep controversy. Critics, especially from communal groups, accuse him of religious persecution. Some claim he forced conversions of Hindus and Christians. Scholars like Professor Irfan Habib and Maulana Nadwi clarify. Tipu Sultan's inscriptions in temples prove he also gave donations and respected all faiths. His fight was never communal. It was political against British colonization. According to Islamic principles, injustice against people of other religions is forbidden. Tipu's letters show he saw British imperialism as the true enemy, not his Hindu subjects. So why the narrative against him? Because history was heavily written by colonial and later communal historians. Demonizing Tipu fits a political agenda. We all hear of Gandhi, Nehru, Patel, but how many of us hear about Maulana Azad, Begum Hazrat Mahal, or the 1857 rebellion leaders like Maulvi Ahmadullah Shah? Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, called the spiritual face of the freedom struggle. He opposed partition, dreamed of a united India, and gave speeches in Hindustani, not just Urdu or Hindi, to unite hearts. Begum Hazrat Mahal, the warrior queen of Awadh, who fought the British in 1857 with unmatched courage. Maulvi Ahmadullah Shah, famously called the lighthouse of the 1857 war by British officials themselves. Yet many of these Muslim figures are sidelined. Why? Because communal politics after independence often shaded history in one color. Islamic scholars say that jihad against colonialism was considered a just cause. The Prophet said, "The best jihad is a word of truth in front of a tyrant ruler." These Muslim leaders lived that principle. Ignoring them not only dishonors Muslims, but dishonors India's history itself. Gandhi versus Bose. Peace versus armed struggle. The truth? Both streams were necessary. One awakened the masses, the other shook the empire militarily. Bhagat Singh versus Gandhi. Martyrdom versus patience. Truth? Both are two sides of the same coin. Tipu Sultan versus narratives. Dictator versus freedom fighter. Truth? Evidence proves he was a patriot misrepresented by agenda-driven history. Scholars remind us, in Islam, unity and justice are more powerful than division. Just as the Quran says, "Do not dispute, lest you lose courage and your strength depart." So, what do we learn? That Indian freedom was not the gift of one man or one ideology. It was a river fed by many streams: Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, women and men, each contributing their blood. But history textbooks, shaped by politics, have often glorified some, demonized others, and erased many. The truth, however, is that freedom was collective. If we keep fighting over Gandhi versus Bose, Hindu versus Muslim, Tipu versus critics, we betray their sacrifice. They fought for a united, free India. My request to all of you, the next time you remember independence, don't just think of one face. Remember the countless voices, the unsung martyrs, the forgotten heroes. That is the real homage to India's freedom struggle. If you like more untold stories, please like, share, and subscribe.